Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Unprofessional Breakdown. And today I got Paul, the evil professor, Antonelli, the striking coach over at Orlando BJJ. Shout out to Brad Thompson over there at
Yes,
Orlando
sir.
BJJ
Yes,
and all the
sir.
guys over there. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very good. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm quite excited. This is my first interview ever.
Oh, man, thanks for
Yeah.
wanting to be
I'm
on this little thing that I do for fun. You know what I mean? And
Hey man,
I'm honored to talk to you.
as far as I'm concerned, it's big to me, sir.
Oh,
I
awesome, man. I've seen you around Combat Night. I formally introduced myself to you like two Combat Nights ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and cause you had a few fighters and I like their style. And I was like, I'm gonna talk to this coach, man. I like that, you know?
Well, I
So,
appreciate it, man.
you
I
got a good
appreciate
thing
it.
going on over there, but immediately Stipe versus Ngannou. Did you get a
Wow.
chance to watch it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't take long to watch it. So
Yeah.
I got the pay-per-view and I was pretty excited about it. And pretty much every prediction I made from the bottom of the card to the top of the card, I was completely wrong. So I stand corrected on most of it. But what a fight, huh? And what a different fight from the first one.
Yeah. Way different.
Way different, right? I looked up some numbers, and this is pretty cool. So when they fought in 2018, the first time, Nagano, he had been fighting for 5 years. His first pro fight was 5 years before that. Stipe was already in the UFC when Nagano had his first pro fight,
Yeah.
which is I think is absolutely wild if you think about it, man. What a fight! Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you? Am I allowed to ask you a question? How does this work?
Hey,
Can I?
this is unprofessional. We can do whatever
Okay.
you
Well,
want here,
I'll
man.
take over then. I'm in charge.
Go ahead, take over.
Okay. So the Apex cage, it's 30% smaller than
It's a lot
the cage,
smaller
right? Yeah. Okay.
than the
So
first cage that they fought in.
yeah, yeah. In the first fight, Stipe got on his bicycle. He rode that thing around until Nagano got tired. This fight, he can't you can't do that. You have 30% less cage. Where are you gonna go?
You're right, and I was waiting for the fight to be the same, but then I was like, since then Stipe has been knocked out. He's been, came back and won, but still took a lot of hard shots. Ngannou, on the other hand, has been getting better and
Yeah.
scarier. When he stuffed that takedown and he sprawled hard, I was like, whoa! And then he spun around,
Yeah, that was
and
I think
I
that
was like, damn, what the hell? Like I wonder what went on in the mind of Stipe. Like, fuck, But Stipe fucked up, man. He you can't come running at Francis,
yeah.
man. You just
Yeah.
can't. He just caught him with that left, and that's all she wrote, man.
Man, I think I hate to say this, but I feel like Stipe looked concerned to start to begin like the first 10 seconds of the fight. He looked like he knew he was in deep water, which is a weird place to be
Yeah,
when you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like to me, he looked generally concerned. Like, let me be really smart here. Like, this is going to be a they both were very relaxed the first, maybe 10, 15 seconds where they both seemed to they kind of walked into the middle, okay, we're going to do this. And then from that point on, he ate that overhand right early, or he ate a right early in the fight, and I think he was like, this isn't going to work out the way I want it to.
I was watching it at the homie's crib, and Mitchell was next to me, and Angel and all that, and then they were like, man, Ngannou should throw some leg kicks, and I'm like, man, he don't throw no leg kicks. And as I said that, boom, he opened
Boom.
up with a low leg kick, and I was like, holy shit, and he just showed growth, and that's the beautiful thing about MMA, man. You just never know. Like, people could watch all the tape in the world, but most of these guys that really want it, they will change. And he changed, man. He was patient. I like how he did. He kept switching, and he kept switching from southpaw to orthodox. Like, at first, when he dropped him. At first, he switched, and he kind of did like a lunging jab or a lunging right, and then he
Yeah.
switched to southpaw, and that put him on his ass. And Stipe, if he hits 10 other guys when he was backing up and then he stopped
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
came with a
Yeah.
counter,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's gonna stop 10 other guys. It would have probably stopped DC in his tracks, but Ngannou, bro. Jesus Christ, man.
Let me ask you a question. How much do you think the fact that Ngannou trains at Extreme Couture, he
Yeah.
does his nutrition at the UFC Performance Institute, he's got a private chef that's taking their data and cooking his food together, versus Stipe, who's still working as a has a full time job still. I think
Yeah.
that's a weird thing because Nagano has gotten significantly better since their last fight, but he's massively changed his training regimen.
Everything.
Is around him. He's at one of the best MMA gyms probably in the country, right? Like Extreme Couture. Now, look,
Extreme Couture, they've been around, yeah.
admittedly, my guys have beat two of their guys in a row. So, or I should say, my girls have beat two of their girls in a row. But Extreme Couture it's a great gym, right? So
It's well known, like AKA
you
and
know,
Jackson Wink and all those guys.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. So that's I always have that question. Like if all things are equal, having think about the sheer number of training partners that Nagano's going to have at Extreme Couture versus how many training partners Stipe has at his gym. I don't know. That seems weird to me. Oh,
And yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Ngannou is a firefighter, right? In Cleveland. Has a full-time job. Like he takes it serious. I think he's doing it because of the pension and the benefits that comes with it, because
I
he's on
mean,
the verge of
hey,
retiring
if
anyways.
he loves it, he loves it.
But I know what you're alluding to. What if Stipe didn't work and he just trained every single day like Francis did? How do we play how what if the playing fields were equal to that? And
what if,
that's a good point. Just like
you
now,
know
look at these guys now, like the amateurs, like what we surround ourselves with. There's guys that are fortunate enough to train every single day, right? And then there's guys that have a family, they have a full-time job and they can't get in quite every day.
of
They
course.
make it, 4 days, 3 to 5, 4 days a week. And then the guy that doesn't work and, you know, doesn't lives with somebody else, doesn't really need the money. I don't know, whatever the
Yeah,
case may
no, of
be.
course. I
And
mean,
look at their performances. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that the guy that's married and has kids and has a full-time job
of
doesn't
course,
have
of course,
potential.
of
Like
course,
shit.
of course.
If you're good, you're good. And if you put in the work, you put in the work. But I see what you mean when it comes to that. Like shit. I mean, I would have loved that. And
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
think of that until now. You
You
made a
know,
great point.
but
That's
like
actually a great point there, man.
I was talking to another coach. I try to have a pretty good relationship with most coaches, and I was talking to another coach here in Orlando who I won't mention his name,
You
but
good?
he was saying that he is kind of moving away from he's been hesitant to put his fighters in debut fights, and I was like, well, why is that? And he's like, well, the quality of the debut fighter now today is much better for amateur debut is much better than it's ever been before.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
agree.
like, I got to make sure my guys. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you the secret to my success. I'm currently undefeated in debut fights. All right. In
That's a good stat.
yeah, I'm undefeated in debut fights. Well, why? Because my guys are over prepared. We're winning in over preparedness. Where I may have 5 years ago said, hey, this guy's ready for a debut. Now I'm giving it another 6 months because the quality of the training, the resources, the education has gotten better of all of the gyms, at least in Florida. And
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
true.
not to shout out your boss here, but obviously Combat Night um is a big part of that because I'm just gonna turn 40 soon, right? When I
Nice,
was
man.
in my late teens, early 20s, there wasn't like readily accessible amateur fighting in Florida. Like, it really didn't exist. If you wanted to have an amateur fight, IKF maybe, but you weren't going to be like Combat Night. Pre-COVID, Combat Night had what 20 shows that year. This year,
Yeah,
what are you
they
guys on pace for?
I'm not sure, man. I think they have April coming up. Then they have back in Orlando for an amateur card,
May I
and
saw they have
then
June. Yeah, it's like
and then they have June, and then back to in July. I think there's another one. So I mean, they're gonna pump out some shows now, especially as everything open up. But even when I started, right when I was started this thing, there wasn't a lot of amateur
no.
MMA fights. It was kickboxing here and there. Sometimes they do conventions like jujitsu tournaments, and then they would have like you said, IKF and all that. There was this guy
Yeah,
named Donnie Hare that was he put on actually a lot of shows before then, but you don't really hear of them until now.
yeah.
But I see what you
We
mean. But let me ask you a question when it comes
go-
to your fighters, man. How much one-on-one time do you give your fighters?
okay, so that's a
Or
solid
if at all?
question. No, that's a solid question. So we have a saying at the gym: what you pay for membership gets you access to the classes. It gets you access
Yeah.
to our facility. You've seen our facility before. I know we have a
Yeah.
13,000 square foot facility. We
I
have
used to
the
work
probably the
there.
yeah, absolutely. We have probably the largest. Everyone has, we have
Yeah.
the largest square foot facility in Central Florida. It's a big building, but
It's a
the
beautiful
what you
building as well.
pay what you pay to get in the building only gets you access to the classes. If you want to fight, there's a premium to pay, and the premium to pay is hard work, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I have less fighters than a lot of the other gyms, but my guys get a lot more one-on-one time. So we have our class schedule that's open to everyone. And then the guys that fight compete for us, they have a camp schedule that's in addition to. So even my amateur fighter, somebody comes into my gym, they've never fought before, they decide they want to fight, they agree to have a fight with Combat Night or one of the other organizations. We put them in a camp. So then I have two other guys, Juan Brea, Robert Mangillo, shout out,
Yeah.
that helped me out for everything. And so a lot of individual time, a lot of mitt work, a lot of one-on-one training. But then also we have, like I said, that we have a saying that the price is hard work. So if I do individual session with you, if I do mitt work with you in the week, um, next time a camp comes around, I'm going to ask you, the fighter, who's now you're the training partner. I'm going to ask you
Yeah.
to put in extra work for those guys. So we've developed a really, really good family, and
That's
a really
awesome.
good team that we put together. But I only have probably 10, 11 guys that currently fight for us. But if you come to, a class is going to be 30, 40 people in our kickboxing class now.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
And now you mentioned that you have like a camp, you set up a camp. Now who comes up with that plan? Do you
I
write the
come over. Yeah,
plan, the
no, I'm going to
camp?
write that
Okay, so
out.
you
Yeah.
you do the
Well,
camp and
so well, now it's getting more complicated. Okay, so when I first took over the program, it's been a little over 2 years now. When I first took over the program, I was creating everything, whether it was camp schedule, when it was. For example, my fighters, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. We run 3 miles together as a team every week. Um, but when we first started, we didn't. We had kind of started over. We started from scratch and we started doing all that stuff. Today I have, like I said, I have a team of like coaches that
yeah,
will
that's
say,
good.
okay, what does this guy need for his fight? Does he need more cage time? Does he need more mitt time? Does he need more drilling time? um, and then we create games in our camps, designed to instill whatever skills we're looking for. For example, in our last fight with Joel Argueta, he fought in Combat
Yep.
Night about a month ago. We worked on ring control, and we actually worked and said over and over again that we wanted him to be methodical in his movement. And I believe you actually called him methodical in on your commentary during the fight. And I said, well, I guess it worked. We kept saying the word over and over again. Um,
And I definitely know that you drill your fighters like that you drill with your fighters a lot because the ones that I've seen, right, that I've paid attention to, I
of
see
course.
the way they move, the way they go in, the way they throw their combos, the way they get out, they step out and circle the right way and all that. I mean, you're doing a hell of a job, man. Keep doing that. Drilling
Thank
is
you.
very
Appreciate it.
important, man. They're lucky to have somebody like you that as long as you give them the time, as long as they give you the dedication and time, you're willing to
Yeah.
give them that one-on-one time. And that's needed now. I see that a lot. Like I started realizing that maybe like 2 months ago, I'm like, fuck, things is different than when I was fighting.
Yeah.
It was, class setting. You come into the class and you do the class setting, you do your dieting, you run on your own time and all that. Now, like you look at
Yeah.
guys like Justin Gaethje and Trevor Whitman, who man, I love Trevor Whitman, man. Like he's a hell of a coach. You look at Dean Thomas, they're not training at big gyms no more.
No,
They
no,
have their own little thing, their
yeah.
garage, their basement, and they're training like you. You have a certain amount of fighters, but look
Yeah.
at the attention of these
Th-
fighters.
I mean, listen, I hate to
Like these
say this,
guys
but
are
like, I'm sorry to talk over top of you. Like,
no,
for
you're good,
example,
don't worry.
we don't, if my guy comes in and he's, we're a developmental program. We're taking guys that have never thrown a punch before, they've never thrown a kick before, and a year later they're fighting and winning a Combat Night. because of individual attention. But it's not just me. It's I have to express this over and over again. Over the last 2 years, I have built a team, and thankfully to my boss, Brad, he's given me the ability to create the structure that I need to
Good.
build a great team. And yeah, we are very lucky in the fact that we have $1 million facility, right? But I'm going to be honest with you. We had this conversation yesterday. We could be just as successful if we were in a back lot because of the quality of the
Quality
team
of training.
that we
Yep.
put together and the individual attention. This is my full-time job.
That's awesome.
This is what I do. I have two revenue streams basically. I'm an exercise physiologist, so I train clients one-on-one in like a health and wellness setting at Orlando Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I do one-on-one sessions with clients of all walks in life, dads,
Cool.
moms, lawyers, doctors, accountants. I have chefs. I have every people that come in for individual training. And then, from probably about 6:30 p.m. till probably 10 o'clock at night, 5 days a week, and then on Saturday mornings, we're in there working on being a world-class kickboxing team.
That's awesome, man. How long you been a striking coach?
Okay, so I have taught now for 15 years. So I was thinking
Awesome,
about
man.
that yesterday. I started teaching in Miami. I was 25, 26 years old. But for a long time, I was working in like the training of law enforcement officers, military. I did work for the State Department, for the US State Department. I traveled internationally and nationally teaching, training, coaching, developing. Um, I got into the sport aspect of fighting probably about 6, 7 years ago. And I've grown that over the last 6 years. But hey, man, we haven't done anything yet. We're trying to build, professional world champions. And that's going to be that's our goal right now. Well, our goal right now is we're going to go to IKF this year and win 10 world titles.
Yeah,
But those are amateur world titles.
yeah, they're coming in soon,
July.
right?
Yeah, July.
July. Yeah, they're going to the convention center in Orange. I mean, well, they hosted it there before. Are they
Yes,
going back there?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They canceled last year, and I
Yeah.
think that this is, we are primarily my program at the gym. Now, for those that are watching that don't know, Orlando Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we have a Jiu-Jitsu program, obviously, gi and no gi, run by
Yep.
multiple world champions. We have a judo program. It's run by two guys that are currently on the Olympic circuit. We
Yep.
have a wrestling program. Our wrestling program is run by the head coach of Greco-Roman U.S. Olympics. We have fitness program, and we have a Muay Thai program. So we have a lot, and we have a kids program, of course. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
most martial arts schools have a kids program. So
Yep.
we have a lot of really cool things going on in the building. But the one thing about our program I think is really unique is that we try to find the best guy to teach, train every single program. It's not like you're going to come here and there's the wrestling coach is also teaching kickboxing and jujitsu and fitness. That's not how it is. We have a fitness graduate from UCF, from the exercise science department at UCF that teaches our fitness program. So we have a lot of really educated, really well traveled, well trained coaches in the building, and that's again thankful to our owner Brad has given us that opportunity that he kind of puts the right guy in the right job and lets them run with it and build a good program out of it.
Yeah, Brad's a good dude, man. And but I also see that you're doing something else as well. You got your own YouTube page, and it's called Combat Theory,
Combat. I have the
right?
I have the shirt on. Hold on. Combat theory. Yeah, there we go.
I've seen a few videos. I
Yeah,
subscribed today. I ain't going front. I
I saw
subscribed
it was an
today.
hour ago. I listen.
Yeah, I
I keep
subscribed. But
I look at my
I've been
analytics.
watching. I've been watching. I saw
Appreciate it.
you had the 10 ways, what is it again? The 10 ways to defend, is it a front kick?
Teep. We
The
have a
teep.
video on the teep.
So,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That was very interesting, and I love that you're doing that. I feel like I wish more head coaches do that. You're not letting out any secrets. You're
Yeah,
just trying to help
yeah.
the people that are watching.
No,
Hopefully
man.
they come and see you.
Look,
How did that start, man? Like, what made you come up with that concept, combat theory?
so we look at this. We always talk about this. I'm the evil professor, right? So we always look at this from a scientific standpoint. I always think of myself as a scientist, man. And I'm, when you talk about martial arts, obviously martial means war. Art is a systematic approach to learning, right?
Yeah.
So when we're learning martial arts, we're learning a science. That's what we always approach it from. We teach from a syllabus, we create a curriculum, we create lesson plans. My teacher was my guru was a high school teacher, so he always taught that way. With the YouTube channel, to be very honest with you, I created the YouTube channel, and although I created it, I have a lot of people on my team that are working for free that are helping us create this because they believe in the brand and they
That's
believe in
awesome.
the team. But we call it combat theory because that's what we're doing, right? We're teaching fighting, we're teaching theory, we're teaching fight theory. And then my guys go and test that at combat night, right? Or they go test that in other competitive endeavors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the idea of combat theory. Why did we create the channel? Well, we created the channel. It's pretty simple. Some of the guys, it's like, okay, if we're doing TEEP in class, we might do the TEEP in class, 4, 5, 6 times in a month. Okay. There's so much when it comes to real kickboxing. I think a lot of times people think kickboxing is, a couple of punches and a couple of knees and an elbow and that's it. Um, Kickboxing's got levels. There's levels to that game.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
we needed a way that even our current students could, maybe take the class and then they could go online and look at, a video kind of reinforcing, okay, this is how I teep, this is why I teep, this is the count on a teep, this is the footwork on a teep. Um, so primarily, reason one was how do we get that material out to our own students? And then, obviously, we want to show people what we're doing. But,
Yep.
to point out something you said earlier, like there's no secrets in this game anymore. You know what I mean?
No.
Like there's everybody knows the ingredients. Okay. What makes our gym successful is the recipe, right? What makes a gym successful is the recipe. If every gym's got kickboxing, every gym's got wrestling, every gym's got jujitsu. Every kickboxing class has mitt work and bag work and drilling and sparring. Um, you got to figure out what the right recipe is for you as a fighter or you as a martial artist. And me as a head coach, I have to figure out what that recipe is if you don't already know what the right recipe is for you. And I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest with you, Lou. I think that's like I said this earlier. My guys come in. They've been with me for maybe 6 months, a year. We decided they're going to have a debut. The only thing amateur about that debut is the rule set because
The
we
rule
treat
sets. Yep.
that like a professional endeavor. Okay,
As you
my
should.
my guys weight cut just like a professional would weight cut. They don't weight cut by themselves. We have bought personal saunas, these little tent things,
Yeah. Yeah. Those are
and
cool.
my guys weight cut right in front of me. I sit there with them the entire time. Um, Whether it's 2 guys, 3 guys weight cutting, we've had up to 4 people weight cutting at the same time, and we do it as a team, man. 3, 4 guys that aren't weight cutting will come and sit with you, and they encourage you and they talk to you, and I'm there also to make sure that a lot of people get hurt during weight cuts. So that's
Yeah.
not something I want anybody to do by themselves, especially a guy that's never, take a guy that's never fought before, never done a weight cut before, and tell him to go to, the local gym to sit in the sauna. That doesn't sit
By
right with
himself.
me. Yeah,
No, man.
like,
Yeah, yeah, you're doing a great job, man. And
you know,
man, that's awesome, dude. Like I couldn't wait to talk to you because I wanted to kind of see like what I don't get a chance to talk to you at the events because you're busy and I don't want to take up your time,
listen, I'm
right?
I'm not even that busy, Lou. You are a busy man. You guys, you have that last combat night show was the best show that I've as a amateur professional. Outside of like the big 2 or 3 organizations, that's the best show that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Organized, the way that it looked. I love that you guys are trying new things.
Yep.
Every fight, it's clear that you guys, sometimes it doesn't go so well, but you guys are trying new things every time. I love that you guys were attempting to interview the people after the fights. It seemed like there was some trouble there with the audio, though.
Yeah, it was the first time, and I was excited. I didn't know until like a couple days before. I was like, man, this is great. The press conference was great. Like, this is great. Like, it's great for the fighters. Even if the audio went wrong, who the fuck cares? The audio went
No, no,
wrong.
no.
The fighters got
Look,
a chance to sit down immediately after the fight, and it made them feel like a big show. So let's say these guys continue in their career and they make it to the big show. Well, they already did this already, so they're kind of trained. They spoke with the interviewer, whoever the hell it was, at whatever event, right? So they spoke to them and they're just getting ready for the next thing. I think the audio is probably gonna be better next time. I
No, I
hope,
no, no
and I hope they
question,
continue
man.
to explore new
No
things,
question.
man.
I think that is what has set Combat Night apart from some of the other organizations. Listen, not to disparage any other organizations because I have to have guys fighting in all of them.
Oh,
But
absolutely, yeah.
Combat Night does set the bar every single time, and the level of competition is incredibly tough in Combat Night. There's whenever there's guys fighting in Combat Night, I'm always we're very like we always do our research. Sometimes when they
Good.
want us
That's
to
good.
fight guys in other organizations, we're like, oh,
That's
okay,
good.
cool, yeah, sounds good. With Combat Night, the guys that are fighting Combat Night, they're coming out of great gyms. They're put on a good show. They clearly know how to fight. Which I know that sounds crazy, but let's be honest. Some amateur fighting, especially in the past, was one guy that trains, one guy that knows what he's doing, and another guy that doesn't know what he's doing.
But Paul, man, thank you so much. We went a little bit over, but I don't care. I love it. I love every single bit of it. What's your Instagram?
So my Instagram is really easy. It's Paul underscore EP. So Paul EP.
And Combat Theory on YouTube, right? You just
Yeah,
type in Combat
type
Theory.
in Combat Theory, it'll pop up. We're right there. We have we just started a little bit about a month ago, but we have 9 published videos, and we've already set up about 5, 6 more. And we have them publishing twice a week is our goal for the rest of the year, which, as you know, is a daunting task.
Yeah, it is tough with the editing and all that stuff, but if you love to do it, you love to do it, and it seems like you have a great team that's helping you do that. And I appreciate you coming on my little
Thank you
show and
so
talking to
much,
me.
man.
I can't wait to see you and your guys at the next event. And
Thank you, thank you,
thank you, Paul. Man, pleasure talking to you, brother.
Lou. When
Paul, the
when
evil professor.
Professor Antonelli, yeah. Lou, when you're famous, can I come back on the show? Like
Oh,
once you have like
absolutely.
100,000 followers, you get me
Oh
back
man,
on.
I don't think I'll get there, but yeah,
Oh man, I'm
absolutely. I
sure. I
wanna,
have
I
no
want.
doubt. I see nothing but gold in your future.
I want to talk to everybody, man, and I want to talk to a few of your fighters. So I'll
Would
send you
love
a
that.
message.
Thank you
I'll
so
send you a
much.
message, and I'll say, yo, I want to, if I can talk to this guy,
Absolutely, absolutely.
or gal. But
Yeah, for
yo,
sure.
thank you. Good night,
Thank you.
brother, and I'll post the picture, and it goes from there, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peace out, y'all.